Welcome to All About Agatha, the podcast dedicated to reading and ranking every single mystery novel written by the Queen of Crime, Dame Agatha Christie. I'm Kemper Donovan.
I'm Catherine Brobeck.
And we are interrupting our regular episode feed with a special announcement. As you may remember, we mentioned recently when we were covering Hickory Dickory Dock that we would like to do a special episode focusing on what we've been calling throughout the course of this podcast, the stuck in its time aspect of reading Christie.
And just to be completely clear about this, what we mean by stuck in its time are those elements of the text that strike readers and our listeners as being, out of step with today and prevailing attitudes, especially about any number of sociopolitical issues.
Right. Some of the more obvious ones, I would say, some of the more obvious issues concern race, gender, sexual orientation, religious belief, religious affiliation even. But there are a number of other areas we've touched on in 4 years and counting, reviewing these novels, such as attitudes toward mental illness and even adoption.
Right. Basically, you've all heard from us about how we negotiate the stuck in its time aspect of reading Christie, and we thought maybe it would be nice to hear from you because there's no question that this conversation would benefit from a multitude of voices.
It's also something we've been thinking about a lot lately, given current events in the U.S., which is where we are recording from. And by that, I mean, both the ongoing conversation surrounding issues of systemic racism and the fact that we've all been cooped up for a while now due to COVID, which in some ways has made us feel more disconnected from each other than ever before. So this is our attempt to combat that disconnection in what we hope is a meaningful and thoughtful way.
So if you're interested in participating, here's what we would like you to do. Use whatever recording device works for you. The Voice Memos app on your smartphone works. And make an audio recording of yourself, letting us know how you handle the stuck in its time aspect of reading Christie. And then you can email us the file at allaboutthedame@gmail.com.
You can let us know who you are at the beginning of the message, but if you'd rather not leave your name, that's absolutely okay. We'd also love to hear where you are in the world, but again, if that's not information you're comfortable sharing, that is a-okay too. What we really want are your thoughts, and here are a few specific prompts to help you form them. How do you feel when you come across stuck in its time elements in Christie? Do they bother you? And if they do bother you, is there a specific way they bother you we may not have covered in our examination of these elements thus far? How do you respond to them or otherwise incorporate them into your reading experience? And is there even anything to be learned from them?
We'd ask that you keep your response to, 2 to 3 minutes, but certainly no longer than 5 minutes so that we have enough room to include as many responses as possible. And we'll take a second to note that this is very much an experiment. So if we end up not getting enough responses for purposes of a coherent episode, we won't be publishing one. Though, to be clear, we have every hope of putting out a fantastic listener-generated episode.
Absolutely. So it's worth repeating that email address, which you've heard me recite so many times at the end of every episode. Perhaps this will be the first time that you use it to contact us. We very much hope that it will be. So once again, that is allaboutthedame@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you next time in our regularly scheduled episode. Bye.
Bye.